When a man greets you with genuine warmth and attention, it's rarely just a casual social gesture. This first moment of interaction is often the clearest reflection of what he feels internally. A greeting, whether a smile, a touch on the arm, or a subtle nod of recognition, is more than etiquette. It is a projection of his emotional state, revealing the degree to which you occupy his mind. The subtleties in this initial encounter are crucial because they are difficult to fabricate. A man who is truly captivated cannot completely mask the way he orients himself toward you, even if he tries to appear nonchalant or indifferent. Psychologically, this reaction stems from the deep connection between attention and desire. Human beings naturally express interest through micro-behaviors, often unconsciously. When someone matters to him, his body language, tone of voice, and eye contact all align to communicate engagement. For instance, he may slightly lean in as he greets you, indicating both focus and openness. His eyes might linger a fraction longer than typical social convention, subtly signaling that you have captured his attention. Even the rhythm of his speech, slightly more deliberate, careful, or enthusiastic, can betray his internal preoccupation with you. These are not conscious acts of performance, they are innate expressions of emotional investment, impossible to fully suppress when genuine attraction is present. Philosophically, the greeting is a window into the hierarchy of his attention. To greet someone with deliberate care is to implicitly assign them significance in one's mental and emotional world. Unlike casual interactions that pass unnoticed or carry little personal weight, this greeting demonstrates that you have penetrated the boundaries of his habitual thought patterns. You exist in his mind in a way that is meaningful enough to influence how he carries himself in the moment of connection. It is the intersection of acknowledgement and valuation, recognition that you are worth noticing, worth engaging with, and worth prioritizing. What makes this particularly fascinating is the balance between restraint and authenticity. The man who is truly interested rarely overcompensates with exaggerated gestures or overtly performative behavior. Instead, his attention manifests in nuanced, understated ways. Perhaps he adjusts his posture slightly, aligns his body toward you, or mirrors your movements subtly. These micro-adjustments reflect an unconscious desire to be present and attuned to you without the need for external validation. Observing such behavior allows one to distinguish between performative charm and genuine engagement, teaching the importance of reading the unspoken language of human interaction. Understanding these dynamics provides insight into relational signals that are often overlooked. A greeting is more than a social norm. It is a diagnostic tool. By tuning into the subtleties of his approach, you gain clarity about the depth of his interest. You begin to recognize patterns of authentic attention versus superficial politeness, allowing you to interpret social cues with precision. Ultimately, when a man greets you in a manner that reflects genuine engagement, it is a rare and meaningful signal. It communicates that you matter to him on a deeper level than simple attraction or casual interest. By observing, acknowledging, and reflecting on these signs, you are empowered to navigate interactions with awareness, understanding not just what is being said, but what is being truly felt. The greeting, simple as it seems, becomes a mirror of his inner world, a world in which you hold a place of significance. One of the most revealing aspects of a man's feelings is how he initiates and sustains eye contact during a greeting. Eye contact is not merely a social convention. It is a powerful conduit for emotional connection, capable of transmitting interest, attention, and even desire without a single word being spoken. When a man is truly captivated by you, the way he looks at you during a greeting betrays the intensity of his internal focus. It is subtle, often unconscious, yet unmistakably telling. Psychologically, prolonged or intentional eye contact signals engagement and emotional presence. Unlike fleeting glances that occur in casual interactions, his gaze lingers, tracking your expressions, your reactions, and the nuances of your presence. This is not a mechanical or rehearsed behavior. It emerges naturally from genuine interest. He may slightly widen his eyes, soften his gaze, or offer a fleeting smile that complements the look, all of which signal that he is attuned to your existence in that moment. These micro-expressions are the brain's way of expressing priority. He is investing cognitive and emotional energy simply to register who you are, how you feel, and how you respond. From a philosophical perspective, eye contact functions as an unspoken acknowledgement of significance. When someone holds your gaze, it is a recognition that you matter, that your presence carries weight in their emotional world. It is a bridge between the self and the other, an intimate acknowledgement of shared space and mutual awareness. A man who is genuinely interested will instinctively seek this connection, even if he masks it with casual body language or a seemingly nonchalant demeanor. The gaze is a subtle but undeniable admission that you have entered his internal landscape. Equally important is the balance between intensity and comfort. A man who is captivated does not stare in a way that feels invasive or overwhelming. Rather, his gaze communicates curiosity and attentiveness. It is steady, confident, and open, offering reassurance while signaling interest. This combination of steadiness and subtle warmth conveys a message that is both inviting and honest. He is present, he is aware, and he is emotionally invested. Recognizing this dynamic allows you to discern between authentic connection and performative charm, distinguishing someone who is deeply attentive from someone who merely wishes to appear engaged. Moreover, eye contact interacts with other elements of the greeting, tone of voice, posture, and gestures to form a coherent expression of interest. It is part of a holistic pattern where each small behavior reinforces the other, creating a consistent and credible signal of attraction. Observing this pattern provides clarity and insight into the true nature of his feelings. Ultimately, the way a man looks at you during a greeting reveals far more than words ever could. It is a mirror of his emotional landscape, a window into the degree of attention, care, and interest he holds. By attuning yourself to these subtleties, you gain the power to interpret his intentions with precision and confidence. The gaze, simple yet profound, communicates a truth that cannot easily be faked. When he looks at you like this, it is a reflection of the genuine place you occupy in his mind and heart. Another critical indicator of genuine interest lies in the subtleties of physical orientation and body language during a greeting. How a man positions himself, whether he leans slightly forward, turns his torso toward you, or subtly mirrors your movements, speaks volumes about his internal engagement. These gestures are rarely conscious. They emerge instinctively when someone is captivated. Unlike overtly performative actions, these micro-behaviors are difficult to fabricate, making them reliable indicators of authentic attention. Psychologically, human beings are wired to align physically with those they are drawn to. Mirroring and open orientation are expressions of empathy and connection, rooted in our evolutionary need to establish social bonds. When a man orients his body toward you, even in subtle ways, he is signaling that his attention is not scattered elsewhere, it is focused on you. He may shift his weight slightly closer, angle his shoulders in your direction, or unconsciously mimic your gestures and posture. These are not merely mechanical movements. They are a reflection of cognitive and emotional investment, a manifestation of how much mental space you occupy in his thoughts. Philosophically, this alignment conveys respect, presence, and a form of acknowledgement that transcends words. To position oneself intentionally toward another is to recognize their significance in one's immediate reality. It communicates more than interest. It conveys valuation by consciously or unconsciously choosing to face you to align with your presence. He is demonstrating that you matter to him. In contrast, a person who is indifferent or detached will often maintain a more neutral, closed, or distracted stance, signaling that the interaction carries little weight. Subtle physical cues also reflect emotional resonance. When someone is genuinely interested, their body becomes a canvas for unspoken communication. Small gestures, a brief lean in, the relaxation of tense muscles, the alignment of feet toward you indicate comfort, attentiveness, and curiosity. He is not just greeting you, he is engaging with the entirety of your presence, attuned to the rhythm of your expressions, and responding on a sensory and emotional level. This holistic engagement differentiates authentic interest from superficial charm, providing a nuanced map of how he feels. It's important to note that these gestures are often most telling when they appear natural and unforced. Overly deliberate movements or exaggerated posturing can suggest performance rather than genuine feeling. True alignment and mirroring occur organically as a subconscious reflection of emotional investment. Observing these behaviors over time allows one to interpret patterns, confirming whether his attention is consistent, spontaneous, and sincere. Ultimately, the way a man physically orients himself during a greeting is a profound expression of his internal state. It communicates attentiveness, valuation, and emotional presence without a single word being spoken. By learning to recognize and interpret these subtle cues, you gain the ability to discern genuine attraction from superficial politeness. In this sense, his body language becomes a mirror of his inner world, a world in which you have begun to hold a meaningful place. Understanding these signals empowers you to navigate interactions with clarity and confidence, recognizing the depth of his attention and the sincerity of his intent. When he aligns his body toward you, it is a tangible reflection of how deeply he is engaged with your presence. Another powerful indicator of genuine interest is the subtle interplay of touch during a greeting. Touch is one of the most primal and intimate forms of human communication. Even brief, seemingly casual gestures, a light brush of the arm, a supportive hand on the shoulder, or a gentle, lingering handshake can reveal volumes about a man's feelings. These touches are rarely planned or calculated. They often emerge spontaneously, reflecting his subconscious desire to establish connection and convey warmth. Psychologically, touch activates neural pathways associated with trust, bonding, and emotional attunement. When a man allows himself to initiate physical contact during a greeting, he is communicating more than social etiquette. He is signaling comfort, attentiveness, and a desire for closeness. It is a non-verbal way of saying, I want to be near you. You matter to me. The subtleties matter. A fleeting, careful touch that respects personal space demonstrates awareness and sensitivity while still creating an intimate channel for emotional resonance. In contrast, absent or perfunctory touches can indicate emotional distance or lack of investment. Philosophically, touch is a bridge between presence and attention. To make physical contact is to acknowledge the other person fully, not just intellectually, but viscerally. It conveys significance and a willingness to share a tangible human experience. In the context of attraction, these micro-gestures are rarely consciously manufactured. They emerge from an emotional impulse that cannot easily be faked. When someone is truly captivated, the body communicates before the mind even has a chance to articulate intention. Beyond the immediate sensation, touch interacts with the broader context of the greeting. The combination of gaze, posture, tone of voice, and gestures forms a holistic pattern. Touch reinforces these signals, creating coherence and depth. A man who looks into your eyes, aligns his body toward you, and complements it with subtle, respectful touch is sending a layered message. He is attentive, engaged, and emotionally present. These cues work together to create an unspoken dialogue that communicates interest far more powerfully than words alone. It's also important to recognize the balance between expressiveness and respect. Touch that feels invasive or excessive can overwhelm and signal a lack of emotional maturity. Genuine gestures are measured, thoughtful, and naturally aligned with the flow of interaction. They create a sense of closeness while respecting boundaries, a hallmark of emotional intelligence and authentic attraction. Ultimately, the way a man uses touch during a greeting offers a window into his internal landscape. It communicates attentiveness, affection, and a subtle yet undeniable level of investment. By learning to observe and interpret these signals, you gain the ability to discern genuine attraction from superficial politeness. Touch is a language of its own, speaking to the depth of his engagement and the seriousness of his interest. When he allows himself these subtle gestures, it is a reflection of the emotional space you occupy in his mind and heart, a space that goes beyond words, revealing a profound and authentic connection. Another revealing indicator of genuine attraction lies in the way a man's facial expressions respond during a greeting. Human faces are highly expressive, and much of this expression is subconscious. A subtle smile, a quick raise of the eyebrows, or even the softening of features when he sees you can reveal an internal emotional state that words often fail to capture. These micro-expressions are fleeting but deeply telling, offering a window into the sincerity of his feelings. Psychologically, our faces act as mirrors of our internal world. When someone is genuinely interested, their expressions naturally convey warmth, curiosity, and engagement. For instance, a smile that reaches the eyes, creating subtle crinkles known as Duchenne markers, indicates authentic pleasure and emotional connection. This differs from a polite or performative smile, which tends to engage only the mouth. The presence of these genuine micro-expressions during a greeting signals that he is not merely following social etiquette, but is emotionally present and genuinely captivated. Philosophically, facial expressions are a bridge between inner thought and external communication. They reveal authenticity because they are difficult to fabricate convincingly over sustained periods. In moments of real attraction, these expressions often appear spontaneously, reflecting an emotional truth that transcends conscious control. The face becomes a canvas of intention, subtly communicating that he values the encounter, notices your presence, and is emotionally attuned. Context amplifies the meaning of these expressions. Consider the interplay between a smile, eye contact, and body orientation. Together, they create a cohesive nonverbal message. A man who meets your gaze, mirrors your posture, and shows genuine pleasure in his facial expressions is providing multiple layers of evidence that his attention is sincere. This constellation of signals forms a compelling, often subconscious demonstration of interest. It is also worth noting that the timing and spontaneity of these expressions matter. Genuine micro-expressions occur rapidly, often within milliseconds, and fade just as quickly. They are automatic, revealing immediate emotional responses rather than calculated behavior. Over time, observing these patterns consistently allows you to discern whether his interest is consistent and heartfelt. A face that consistently brightens in your presence, even in brief greetings, reflects ongoing cognitive and emotional engagement. Ultimately, understanding these subtle facial cues equips you with a deeper awareness of authentic attraction. They serve as a non-verbal signatu of his internal state, providing insight into the depth of his emotional investment. His expressions are not just reflections of politeness, they are windows into how much you matter to him, how he prioritizes your presence, and how deeply he is affected by your interaction. By learning to notice these details, you gain the ability to interpret genuine interest from superficial behavior, enhancing your understanding of human connection. When his face reveals warmth, engagement, and subtle delight, it is an unmistakable sign he is genuinely invested, emotionally present, and truly captivated by you. Another critical signal of genuine attraction is the way a man subconsciously aligns his behavior to create a sense of connection with you. This is not about deliberate flattery or manipulation. Rather, it is an instinctive desire to bridge the emotional and psychological gap between two people he values. When a man is truly interested, he naturally adjusts his tone, his pace of speech, and even his physical gestures to match the rhythm of your presence. These subtle adjustments indicate an unconscious investment in the interaction, a reflection of the importance he places on the connection. Psychologically, humans are wired for social mirroring. When we feel drawn to someone, our brains instinctively respond by syncing with their energy, adopting their expressions, matching their posture, and modulating our voice to harmonize with theirs. This synchronization is more than politeness. It is a reflection of deep neurological attunement. In practical terms, if a man consistently mirrors your movements or subtly echoes your language patterns, it suggests that he is mentally engaged and emotionally attentive. These are not behaviors we can sustain consciously over long periods without true interest. They are automatic indicators of connection. Philosophically, this synchronization reveals a fundamental human truth. Genuine attraction is relational, not performative. It thrives in moments of authentic reciprocity, where each participant's presence elicits a complementary response in the other. A man's ability to adjust unconsciously, to move in step with your emotional and physical cues, reflects a desire for cohesion and intimacy. This is why even brief greetings can carry profound significance. The smallest gestures can signal a depth of investment that words alone often fail to convey. Contextual factors heighten the meaning of these behaviors. It's not simply about copying your actions, it's about the consistency and subtlety with which he does so. When a man mirrors your expressions, listens with undivided attention, and responds with intuitive timing, it demonstrates sustained engagement. These patterns reveal that his focus is on you as a whole person, rather than a passing social interaction. Over time, observing these behaviors in tandem with other non-verbal cues, eye contact, touch, and body orientation, offers a comprehensive portrait of his emotional commitment. Timing and spontaneity are essential. These micro-adjustments occur naturally and fluidly, often without conscious thought. A man cannot maintain this level of subconscious alignment if his interest is superficial. True emotional engagement manifests in these subtle, repeated actions. They serve as a reliable barometer for genuine attraction because they emerge from instinctual rather than calculated motives. Ultimately, noticing these intricate non-verbal signs provides a window into his authentic feelings. They signal more than curiosity or politeness. They reveal emotional investment, attentiveness, and a desire for closeness. By tuning into these cues, you gain insight into the depth of his attraction, allowing you to understand when a man is truly captivated versus merely courteous. When his behavior consistently mirrors, aligns, and adapts to yours, it is undeniable he is deeply interested, emotionally engaged, and genuinely invested in the connection. This understanding empowers you to recognize authentic signals and navigate relationships with clarity, awareness, and confidence.